Yeah, welcome back. Well, it's 10 days to the FIFA World Cup. It's just here next week. That's when it is, right? Well, that's so close. Okay, right now we have a guest in the studio. I mean, he's a sports administrator, a broadcaster, a journalist, everything you can even think of. I'm talking about Dudu Rume. He's right here in the studio joining us on this special segment. Good morning. Good to have you.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you very
much.
much.
Yeah, I mean, the wait is almost over. I don't know, have you started to feel the fever like we are in the studio?
Yeah, it's a great proposition, and it's a one single event. About 3 billion eyeballs will be on, and there are expectations from countries who are participating and the ones that are not even participating. And it's a tremendous opportunity for business as well. About 4 million viewing centers in Nigeria will be doing business. People will go in there, and there's a lot to come.
A whole lot to come. But this morning we're starting with the Super Eagles. They're already in Austria preparing for the game against Czech Republic. They landed yesterday, immediately after the game against England. They had to just board and go right there. Now, there's a 23-man list that is out already. I mean, just 2 players were dropped, technically dropped, because Gennett Rowe talked about the fact that they are on standby, and these players are still with them, talking about Olaino and also Mikel Agu. Okay, these are the pictures coming from when they were about leaving London.
And arrival in Austria for that friendly against Czech Republic. And that's where they will actually be based for a few days before traveling to Russia for the World Cup proper. But the story out there is the list, the final list. 23 players confirmed for the World Cup. 7 were dropped in total from the 30 initially picked. How would you say you're surprised by the players that were dropped? Let's start from there.
I wouldn't say that. Maybe I would say that there are 2 other players I'm finding it difficult to justify their presence. They haven't said that. You've got to give it to Gennett Rowe. If he picked a team of 23 players and 90% is approved by everybody, I think that's a good scorecard. It's never going to be able to pick everybody we want.
Correct.
We all have our preferences, we all have our sentiments, and I think the 23-man squad represents seriously how much work has been done with the team. And though I must add that I worry about Onazi's form, quite petulant as a player, and his form is being horrible. Against England, he didn't show up at the party. I also have my worries about Joel Obi, a very talented player when he emerged in the scene about 3-4 years ago, but a combination of injuries and all of that is not quite the same player. So he's one person who's been to the World Cup. I'm not very sure is a good idea.
Okay, those 2 guys were not supposed to be on that list.
In my opinion, they haven't done enough to be on the list.
Yes. If we can just take a look at all the 23 players that are off to Russia that will be representing Nigeria, barring no injuries at all.
Barring no injuries, that's very important.
Starting from the goalkeeping situation right now. How will the goal situation?
Francis or Daniel Akpe, those are the usual suspects. I mean, those are the options really available to get a raw.
Yeah, those are the best we have, to be honest.
Okay, so let's move on to the defenders. The guys are going to preventing goals from flying into the nets of Nigeria. William Trostekong, Leon Balogun, Kenneth Omero, Brian Udowu. They also have Chidozie Awazim and Abdullahi Shehu.
Not a bad list. Perhaps Olaino would have squeezed it, but he's on the reserve.
Okay.
But, you know, in this arrangement, I think that we have easily the best. Eldersin gone past his best days, but we could do with his experience. And we also, you see, in a situation like this, the World Cup, there are people who they are stabilizers for the younger players. It's always nice to have 2-3 of those people who have the experience. Hey, gentlemen, it's not too bad. Calm down. Eldersin, you know, slowing down. But together with Mikel, we need people like that, and I think that he's one person who should be there. Olaino, who is more right-sided, he doesn't have as much chance as him because we already have two players, Tyrone Eboehi and Shehu. I mean, forget Shehu's form against England. It was just one of those bad days, but he's a good player too.
Good player.
Okay, so we'll go to the midfielders now, the players that we have there. I mean, Mikel will be, of course, will always be there. Going on Nanzi, you talked about him. John Ogu, Wilfred Ndioge, Karate, but of course, Joel will be the midfielders we have.
I mean, spoken about those two as well, to Ogenyo Nazi and Joel Obi. What about the others?
Well, Mikel brings the required balance. He is the ultimate ambassador of the Super Eagles, even if I say so. John Ogu, yes, showing why he should be there. Him and Tebo, they came in and they were breaking the English attack. What I expected Ogeyi to do, he just didn't show up. In the midfield, the size of the midfield is a bit lean because for me, we're almost -2, with at least Joel Obi's form totally inconsistent. But again, the consolation is that each time Alex Iwobi is drafted into the middle, he sets the stage alight. So there will be a combination here and there, depending on what the match requires. Not bad, but I mean, to be honest with you, I wish the 30-man list wasn't submitted before the game in Port Harcourt, where the Wakali brothers, showed a lot of creative talent, something that's particularly missing in this midfield combination.
No fireworks at all.
Looks like that's the weakest link in the team, perhaps? Or is it the forwards? Because that's where we're going next. We're going to the attackers now, and let's see the guys that are there. Maybe we can agree which is actually the weak link for the Super Eagles. In attack, you have Odion Ighalo, you also have Ahmed Musa, Victor Moses, we also have Alex Iwobi, Kelechi Iheanacho, and Simi Nwankwo.
Well, not a bad collection, but I don't believe in going to the World Cup with more than 4 or 5 forwards.
Okay.
It's a midfield that should be compact because that's where the sharp tackles fly. That's where the yellow cards fly. You can get match bans and the rest of it. We're quite heavy in this area, this territory, this department. But then, well, touch wood, it could work for us. But we need to have service from midfield for these forwards to be effective.
Okay, so from what you've seen, I mean, the service is not going to be there?
I can't find a creative player in that midfield. Joel Obi, at the risk of repetition, isn't quite the player he used to be. Hopefully, Kenneth Rowe will stop the experimentation and bring Alex Iwobi into midfield because the opportunities have to be created for the forwards to make hay. And then central attack. Ighalo appeared quite heavy against England.
Yeah, very heavy.
He was heavy, and those things we used to accustomed to seeing him do turn on the coin.
Mobility,
He's not there. He wasn't mobile, and then I also hope too that the coach is able to create a new understanding, a new approach where the balls are swung him from the flank. Maybe he can go a step further and do something different.
Okay. We'll just hope. Okay, well, let's just get confirmation now coming from Kenneth Rowe when he talked about the players that were dropped, the reason why they are on standby.
Yes, nobody's dropped. They are substitutes. So it's Ola Aina and Mikel Abu. They will be in standby. Go with 23 players to Austria. If there is another problem, injury, like it happened 4 years ago, remember, with Elderson who was injured from the 23, another one was coming. So they are still in standby.
Yeah, they're still on standby. So, barring any injury, so these players will just get into the squad. That's what it's implemented by that. But Ola, let's talk about him again. What is he going to bring in? if he's able to get, maybe there's anything.
Are you?
No, I'm just like...
Come on. We don't, there's no injuries.
Olaina is a good defender. Young, still has some time to go. He plays, he's a natural right back, but he can fill in at left back as well. For me, if he doesn't get picked, it wouldn't be a major disappointment because there are people with stronger credentials. You know, right full back, which is his position. And at left back, I'd rather have somebody who is technically suitable than a converted player. In Ido and Chejele, we have players who are ahead of him for that position. In Tyrone Eboyi and Neshiu Abdullahi, we also have two players. So the natural position is backup.
Interesting. Good thing for Olaina. He's still very young and there's still a lot of years ahead of him to play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. That's if he doesn't change his mind to go and play.
He can't anymore.
He can't do that anymore. Too bad. Let's move on now. Let's talk about the goalkeeper. It's been one of the most topical issues in the team. And Gernot Rohr has been confirming and basically reiterating that Francis Uzor is the guy that will be in goal in Russia.
For me, we don't have a goalkeeper problem. I hear here and there that we have a goalkeeper problem. No, we don't have a goalkeeper problem. We have 3 good goalkeepers. And now we give the possibility to Francis to play because he needs this experience of these big games, playing in one way, playing already in Poland. There were only 40,000. Today was more, but they have the atmosphere of the World Cup already. He did very well. And we are working a lot with him. We sent our goalkeeper coach 2 times to La Coruña for 10 days since a few months to help him also. He's only number 3 in La Coruña, but he's doing well in the reserve team. And so we continue to work. He's quiet. He's tall, he can come out, he is good on the line, but he has to work. What I like with this player is very humble also. And we need something like that. I hope that in the 3rd game, they are already qualified and he will not play against us.
Yes, Gernot Rohr confirming and backing his choice of Francis Uzor as the #1 goalkeeper for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. How comfortable are you with a player who's had 2 top flight games at club level and about 5 at international level? No competitive game for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and it's going to be #1 in Russia.
Well, Gernot Rohr took a very technical decision. You see, a lot of our goalkeepers have that weakness of being shot stoppers. They're not goalkeepers in the real sense of the word. Uzor maintains his line very well. He's tall. He punches. A lot of our keepers, with due respect to those who've been in the post the last 10 years, they palm the ball and it drops, and what is supposed to be a save becomes a goal. He doesn't show any of those weaknesses. He has all the attributes of a good goalkeeper, and the only thing missing is experience. But he's not going to buy that in the international market. I'm going to put him there. And I like what the coach is doing. Give him the confidence. Tells him, boy, you are #1. So start getting ready for it mentally and physically. And he's getting it right. His first game for Nigeria, his 2nd game is an improvement. And on, yes, you want to think, oh, boy wasn't had competitive, but for God's sake, he's showing all the attributes of a good keeper. They're giving him the right training, you know, on pitch, and mentally he's been psyched, ready to do it. I think he did a good job against England. Therefore, I would.
You're very confident.
Yes, I'm sure it's the best we have in the back, and a good idea is to put the man who the cap fits
in the goal. Okay, that's it.
That's it. Okay, let's quickly go for this break now. Austin will also be joining us from London.